Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about why quitting gaming is so hard. So let's get right into it. So with quitting gaming, it's mostly just like a very hard process because it's very habitual, if that makes sense. So like whenever you're playing video games, it's just something that like you kind of do like day in and day out. It's like kind of just, it's a habit, and habits are hard to break. That's just like normal nature, but also the fact that video games, they have like a very addictive nature to them. If any of you have like heard about Epic Games, the creator of Fortnite, well, this used to be a Fortnite channel, so I'm assuming if you're a subscriber from then you would know about Epic Games. If you're not, Epic Games is basically the creator of Fortnite, and this is actually a very interesting like thing. But like they've actually been, I think they've been like sued or something for hiring psychologists to create a very addictive nature to the video games, like adding addictive aspects, and it's pretty prevalent in Fortnite especially. I remember during my time playing, there's a lot of things to kind of like keep you hooked to the game, right? For example, you have like the Fortnite item shop, and every day it changes, there's like new items. That's only like a small thing. You have like the battle pass, 100 tiers, and you would grind that out every single day. And it's just stuff like that that really like keeps you hooked. And even like for the Fortnite competitive players, I used to be a competitive Fortnite player, you'd have like tournaments, like every like 3 tournaments a week. You have the cash cups, solo cash cup, duo cash cups, and then you'd have like FNCS. And those tournaments, like you would want to play them because they give you a lot of dopamine. That's like the neurotransmitter that kind of releases like okay, I'm not like too scientific on this, but I'm pretty sure like the correct explanation is that like it's a neurotransmitter, and it's like released whenever you get like a sense of pleasure or like a sense of achievement, something like that. Don't quote me on that, but like if you search it up, you'll probably like find out more information about it. But it's it's just like the dopamine that's being released, and Fortnite gives you like a lot of dopamine. It's like honestly like a pretty absurd amount. And since how this works is that since you like video games so much and it gives you a lot of dopamine, your brain tends to do things that give you a lot of dopamine. So in comparison, like doing something like, I don't know, going to work or like studying or like working out, like these activities don't really seem that interesting because video games are just like inherently more fun because they give you more dopamine, and that's what makes them so addictive. To add on to this, one of the most major things that I found, and this is from Game Quitters, at least this is where I learned it from, so shout out to them. But basically, when you play video games, you're fulfilling certain needs, like human desires that like everybody kind of needs. For example, a sense of achievement. This is one of the main ones with video games, because with video games, you kind of feel like you're progressing in the sense, like if you can think about like, I'll just use my Fortnite analogy here because that's what I'm used to. Like in Fortnite tournaments, if you're placing higher and higher, you kind of feel a sense of achievement. Like if you're placing top 5,000, you're getting into like the top 200s in duo cash cups. Like you feel like you're like progressing forward in life. And well, to an extent, it feels that way, but this is not like entirely true because, I mean, you can make money from Fortnite, but it's usually more like short-term gains. And if you want to be like a competitive Fortnite player, that's up to you. Like I don't have anything against that, but it's important to realize that like sometimes it's most likely like the addiction that's causing you to want to get further and further. And this is just really prevalent, especially when I played Fortnite, because I myself, I was a competitive Fortnite player for like around 2 or 3 years, and I took it pretty seriously. I thought I could like get earnings, and so that I dedicated a lot of time to the game. So I would do aim training every morning when I tried to. I would do like warm-up routines, and then I would jump into arena, and then I'd play some scrims, and then I'd probably play some more creative, and then go back into like tournaments once there were tournaments like FNCS, and that was kind of like the routine. It was every day, right? So I think I only played on weekends, but like I played a lot on weekends, maybe like 20 hours, 30 hours a week, which is probably on the lower end of Fortnite players. But yeah, I just felt like I was progressing forward. I felt like I was getting more PR, right, on Fortnite Tracker. So like PR is basically power rankings. It's like a Fortnite Tracker statistic where it shows you like how many like placements you get, like how many points you get per like placement. If you place like top 7,500, you get like 5 PR or something like that, right? And it's like these kind of like metrics that really like cause you to be more addicted, and it causes it to be harder to play because you're thinking like it's kind of like just a sunk cost fallacy, because you've already sunk so much time into Fortnite. For me, it was like 4,000 hours of Fortnite. Like, why would it make sense to just stop now, right? And that's kind of like the sense of achievement. I feel like I'm getting better as a person, but you're getting better in Fortnite, which isn't exactly what you want to do. You want to get better in like the real world, which is kind of the issue. It kind of blurs the line between like reality and like the virtual world of Fortnite, right? And that's what makes it like really challenging. Yeah, to add on to this, it's not just the sense of achievement, there's also various other aspects. Let's talk about the sense of friendship. And like humans as like, I guess animals or creatures, like they tend to strive towards social interaction. It's a very important part of life and just like a super important part of life. But for many Fortnite players, including myself, it's kind of hard to find social interaction in real life, especially when you're so used to like voice chat on Fortnite, right? Because for me, like, honestly speaking, I didn't really have that many friends when I was playing Fortnite. Like during that time, I was a bit lonely in real life, but like when I had time, I would like hop on and talk to my Fortnite friends, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but like it's kind of, I found for me at least, it kind of like stunted my like social growth at least, because when I played Fortnite, like you mostly don't really talk, you're not really like in deep conversations for the most part. You can think about it like you're mostly talking about like what's happening in game, like communications, like oh you hit someone 50 white, 50 shield, like that kind of stuff, right? You're not really engaging in deep conversations and not even like small talk really, because you're mostly just talking about like in-game events. It's most likely like superficial conversations. Of course, you can get to know like Fortnite players on a deeper level. I'm not like debating that, but I'm just saying that like the main purpose of like Fortnite interactions, they're mostly surrounding Fortnite itself, right? Because that's what everything's based off of, and that's kind of where the interactions get really tricky. And I found, at least for myself, this might be a bit stereotypical, but yeah, interactions were definitely harder in real life. And even after quitting video games, like I've worked a lot on that to like improve my everyday interactions, and it's gotten a lot better. I've made a lot of new friends ever since quitting Fortnite, and even just having the idea of like potential like in-person interactions. I feel like that's something that's like often just like forgotten about in today's age, because everything's just digital, right? And yeah, and Fortnite, it really does fulfill that like social aspect for most people. Or not even Fortnite, just video games in general, because it can be very social at times. And I think there's a time and place for it. Like, for example, if you're like hanging out with your real life friends, maybe, I don't know, you go play a game together, like I think that's perfectly fine. But when the interactions become like purely social, like virtual, I mean, that's where it kind of becomes problematic, at least in my case. And also like the gaming community, especially like Fortnite, like I found a lot of the communities to be like relatively like toxic at times. Especially I remember like Fortnite scrim servers, like for example, well, I'm not gonna name any names, but like just in general, I guess, like you would have a lot of people that were like just really like they were just really rude, and they would often insult you. And yeah, it's just like that kind of community is not really like a community that I would want to be in. And yeah, it's just that aspect of it, the social aspect. And it's really something that everybody needs, but it's hard to find that in real life. So people often strive to the alternative of like video games. And sometimes, I'm not saying like your video game friends aren't your real friends. This is on a case-by-case scenario. You gotta really break it down and see like who you want to interact with on a deeper level, and not just like superficially, right? And that's something to keep in mind for sure. But yeah, other than the needs that required, also just quitting gaming in general, it's honestly like, it's kind of like a drug in a sense, with all the withdrawal symptoms and all that, right? Because when I quit the game of Fortnite, as well as gaming in general, I actually had a lot of withdrawal symptoms, and I still get them to this day. Like I have nightmares about playing Fortnite, and yeah, like when I stopped playing, it was honestly like it was very uncomfortable. I didn't really know how to like deal with it. So like I kind of like stuck around in the Fortnite community for around a month or so, like in Discord servers, like watching Fortnite Twitch streams, which is kind of an easy way to relapse back into gaming. But those have kind of like died out as of now. I still occasionally like watch Twitch sometimes, but it's something I'm really trying to work on. And it's not that like watching Twitch streams is inherently bad or anything like that. It's more of just that it causes it to be very easy to relapse. So that's another thing we want to talk about. So like if you're trying something like the 90-day detox, for example, this is something specific to like video games. Well, it's actually, I think it's not created by video games, but something that like many video game addicts, it's like a strategy that they use. And the whole idea of a 90-day detox is like you basically you take a break from gaming for 90 days, kind of just to reset your dopamine levels and then see what you want to do there. Like, do you want to go back? Do you want to try to moderate your game? Do you want to quit cold turkey, right? And this kind of approach is honestly like a pretty good approach. I use it myself. It's not like perfect. There's probably maybe some other alternatives depending on your scenario. But yeah, like this kind of method is like kind of like the approach that you want to take, but it's very difficult because first thing, the most difficult part about quitting gaming is that you want to do it because you want to do it, not because other people are pressuring you. And that's kind of the thing, right? Because if you're not certain that you want to quit video games, you're not going to do it. That's just the truth, right? And even if you have a strong desire to, there's also many other like aspects that can really mess you up. For example, just relapsing, right? Because every time, maybe let's just say you tried to quit video games for 3 days, and then on the third day you would have the video game reinstalled already. This is something I've actually tried a lot, right? Like I would try to uninstall Fortnite. I've done this so many times. At least I can count like off the top of my head at least 5 times. And there'd be many times I'd realize that like, oh, this video game issue is really causing a lot of like problems in my life. And I would try to quit, but you couldn't because you just want to play, and there's nothing else you can do either because remember the whole thing about dopamine. Nothing is as enjoyable as video games, and that's where the issue is. Nothing is as enjoyable as video games due to the high amount of dopamine that you get from playing them. And I tried other hobbies, okay? I played the piano, I did cubing, I tried all of it, and it was just really boring to me at the time. I just really didn't find any enjoyment in them, so I'm like, maybe I should just play video games. They're more fun anyways, it's a good hobby, or at least that's what I told myself. It wasn't really a hobby if it was an addiction, but yeah, that's honestly the most difficult part, and this is kind of like the main point of the video, is that nothing is going to be as enjoyable as video games, which is why you're gonna have to stop it if you're in that addiction stage. Of course, if you're not addicted, this is not the right video for you because I assume that if you have it just as like a fun hobby, you play like an hour like every month or something, like that's perfectly fine. If it's just something that that you just do like in your free time, like not like in all of your free time, but like occasionally just another one of your hobbies in addition to like doing many other activities, that's perfectly fine. But this video is more for people who are really struggling with video game addiction, and it's important to keep in mind that the video game addiction, it won't cure itself. You really have to be super proactive. And yeah, a good book for this is actually Atomic Habits. I've only just started reading it, but it's honestly really helpful just for building new habits. And for me, like, it's more of like building new activities, right? New hobbies that you can be centered around. And the hobbies, they can be productive, they can be non-productive. For example, some of the hobbies I've picked up along the way, I started with cubing, like solving Rubik's Cubes, because I had this hobby before I quit video games, or not, like before I started playing video games even, and it kind of died out because video games were more fun, but I've gotten back into it. I've also started playing baseball. This one's more recent, but yeah, I realized that like in my childhood, I used to like listen to a lot of baseball on the radio and used to follow it, and I thought it could be interesting, right? So I started like watching baseball games, and as a result of that, I actually got into playing baseball as well. So like I've been playing like baseball in like just a house league, nothing like super competitive. But yeah, it's been a great experience, and I feel like sports they're kind of like video games in a way, because you have all like the similar aspects of like improving yourself, working towards new goals, and like striving to improve your skills basically, and also that sense of like friendship, right, with your teammates and acceptance in real life, right? So you get all like the physical aspect benefits, but also like it's a nice balance, and I would recommend it for anyone who wants like a new hobby, playing sports, or even just working out. I think working out is also great too. Just like going to the gym, beating new personal records, like PRs, right? That's kind of like beating like a new placement that you got in like a Fortnite tournament, except you have like real noticeable and tangible gains as opposed to nothing. Like, no offense, but you're not getting much out of video games for the most part if you are trying to use that to justify it as a reason for playing video games. It's honestly a great pathway, just going to the gym. That's probably like one of the best things you can do as like a video game or like addict, because you really have a lot of the same like sense of achievements. Like you're working towards like new, like I don't know, like you want to bench more, right? Then that's something that you would go and do, and it's a pretty good replacement. So that's something I would recommend. But yeah, that's it for today's video on why it's so hard to quit video games. And if you did enjoy this video, consider liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. turning on the notification bell if you want to see more videos like this, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.